How do you attack selection this week? Obviously, there'll be an extended squad tonight, but is resting at the forefront of options tonight?
No, picking the best team to get the job done is number one priority. And then just being smart and getting the balance right. As we did last week, it's always a risk to take a player out like Laird and the experience he brings, but 2 6-day breaks and experiences we've had even at the start of this year with Lairdy, the decision was made off the back of that. And so they'll be similar this week. We'll see how we train shortly, how guys pull up from that and make some decisions around. And Tex will be the one that you're all asking about. And we'll just see how he pulls up from today's session. He's moving really well at the moment, and our discussions are a little bit back and forth, but we'll try and make the right decision there.
Nicks, are you letting that call come down to Tex, or will you in the end make that decision?
No, that'll be a group decision. So high performance coaching, as well as Tex. He has so much experience in the game, but it's quite a unique position coming towards this part of the season, and it's a long season as you get the other side of 30, which we've discussed throughout the year. So we'll have a look at that.
Is it more likely to be this week as opposed to the last minor?
Well, the travel's been one. So historically, I gave you the Laird example. This is similar where we know the travel to Perth's a little bit more taxing on the body. We come back, so we're forced to fly back Monday into a 6-day break. So there's things like that add to our decision and will assist us in making that decision.
Fair to say that he's not the only one potentially in that resting conversation?
Well, yeah, I think it's across the board at the moment. You're seeing, there's a number of injuries that are coming through. The season gets long. Guys are pushing hard. Our guys have done a hell of a lot of work to get themselves in condition that we can hold and work our way through. But we'll just look at each issue as it comes up, look at each case as it comes through, and make decisions off the back of what we believe is best for the team.
So is Tex open to it, or is he?
Yeah. Oh no, Tex, he's very mature about where it's at, and it's a balancing act because we know how important he is to us, and you don't want to mess with that momentum that we have. We understand how quickly momentum can change, and he's a big part of our forward line. He's an on-field leader. We saw last week how big he is in key moments. In the end, it's our team gets the job done, but in some really big moments, Tex stepped up and got it done for us. So we just want to get that right. We don't want to make that decision incorrectly, and it'll be one that we'll see how we go after training today.
Does when and where his 300th will be factor into the decision at all?
No, not at all. Which is actually, we've openly spoken about. Incredible milestone, and one that we will celebrate, but it's not going to be a factor in the decision that we make.
Where do things sit contract-wise with Tex and whether he wants to play on next year?
Same as where they have all year. An understanding that we'll get together post-season and discuss it.
It's cliche to say that you want to start a game well, but having done the review into the whole game in that first quarter last week, is it fair to say there'll be a particular emphasis on coming out of the box this week for this game, and also heading to that Collingwood game, knowing how dangerous they are?
Yeah, well, this week, our last trip to Perth wasn't a successful one. Similar circumstance where we came up against Freo, who had come off, for their standard, a poor performance, especially in the contest. West Coast last week, I know they're going to be training pretty hard today. It's already been talked about by their coach. So we know we're going to have a team come out that are really going to take it to us, and we want to match that. We didn't do that last time we went to Perth. So our guys come off a pretty good lesson when it comes to how not to do it, and we want to go and fix that this week.
What did you learn from that? What were the mistakes in that first quarter?
A bit of our contest wasn't where it needed to be, but we also look back on it. We went away from roles, so just didn't quite get the detail done. And we also came up against a team which that day, Freo, were playing some of their best footy in that first quarter and just put us away.
Having the luxury, Nixie, to rest players also means you can give an opportunity to some players who have been pushing for an opportunity, probably will be playing in other seasons as well. I guess who is making that push at the moment if you decide to rest players?
If Taylor doesn't play, then Chris Burgess is a big chance, and has sort of been knocking the door down all year and just hasn't had the opportunity. So if it did go that way, he is more than likely the replacement and deserves his opportunity. He's been one of those guys that, we've been working with right throughout the season. Just, we all want to keep improving and developing, but he's been giving everything he possibly can to say, look, I'm AFL ready if and when needed.
We'll just get an update on Josh Rosselli too. Matthew,
Yeah.
A month to final, sort of halfway there, I guess. But how tight is it towards finals?
I don't have an exact timeline, so it's not one. I don't want to guess and throw a number out there and we all get stuck on it. He is progressing really well. So, as far as catching up with the specialist and the progress he's making, he's in a really good space, but mindful of trying to put a date on it. We'd love to see him back. Hope that opportunity shows itself, but we don't know as yet.
Jordan Butts had locked down his spot really in that side before he got that pretty nasty injury. Assuming he gets through contact training today and all good, is it you back into the ones or do you need to see him in the samples first?
There's a session to get through, as you said, a really important one. Very mindful of what the group's doing at the level as well. Nick Murray's taken that opportunity and stepped in, as have the back 6 or 7. They're playing some great footy. The cohesion there is really strong. In saying that, Jordan Butts went out in some pretty good form, but we probably want to get a game of footy in to Jordan, everything going well today at training, before maybe exposing him at AFL. But again, it's a decision we'll make this afternoon, or if not, maybe in a few days.
Clearly, you go through the process and you wouldn't underestimate any of your upcoming opponents. But how important is it in terms of that momentum for finals to have tighter games or closer contests as opposed to what you may get if you roll a couple of these sides?
Well, the most important thing for us is we bring our brand, the footy that we've been playing. That's the focus for us, is to get the game on our terms. It's not easy to do that. It's something that we've done really well. We've been able to nail in on respecting our opponents every week, no matter where they sit on the ladder, and then going to work on trying to get the game on our terms. And our guys, to their credit, have been able to do that really well all season. So we haven't changed any of the process this week of how we go about it. We're locked in on West Coast and we know what they bring and their weapons, and if the game's on their terms, we'll be in trouble. But part of that's the challenge, is to get the game on our terms. And we also go in with a lot of confidence and belief in the way we're playing, but we know from the weekend just past, if you're just a little bit off, you can be exposed, and we were that for a quarter last week. So we don't want a repeat of that.
You now stand as flag favourites and top of the ladder, which is an unfamiliar terrain. How exciting is it to be a part of a team that's got this level of expectation?
I think it's exciting for the state, but at the same time, I think we all know how close the competition is this year. It's 1 or 2 wins and it changes dramatically from what is first to 8th or 9th. And we have a complete understanding of that and the importance of this game this weekend and what it means as far as the season goes.
It's a weekly question, read Matt Crouch, but do you need to give him a game in the seniors to have him ready for possible finals if if it does go that sort of way? Do you need to give him a chance before the end of the regular season?
I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. We want to make sure Matty's ready for that. We don't want to put him in too early and not have him physically ready to perform. We know his strengths. He can play at AFL level when his body's right. So we've got to get that decision right. At the moment, I would say even Matty, there's still a little bit to go. A little bit more footy, getting the ball in his hands. He's getting plenty of footy at SANFL level, but I know he wants to take his game to another level and feel really confident that he can trust his body and give the team the best chance to win.
So what is the next? Is it his quality of disposal, or is he where he's pulling up?
I think speed of the game. It's that strength, that core strength, feeling balanced over the footy. We know Matty can accumulate. He's one of the best in the game at doing that. Even Matty at the moment is going to find another level to his game. And we're confident he'll do that over the coming weeks, and then it'll be a decision we'll have to make. Does he get an opportunity before finals, or does the group that are playing, are they getting the job done? And it's hard to change that mix. And so, it's not an easy decision, but it's a bonus for us to have such an experienced player knocking on the door now and saying, hey, I can help.
I think you might have touched on this post-game, but the final 3.5 minutes looked like Murray Davis might have had to just pull you back a little bit. You were very invested in the game. Adam Simpson, the following day, spoke about how when you sort of end up commentating as a coach, you're not doing your job, you're not ball watching, and you should be doing something else. What did you learn from that moment, and was that a learning experience for you?
Well, I learnt the importance of Murray and how he's added to our group. Yeah, it was interesting towards the end of that game. There was a little bit of frustration around just some detail around what we weren't quite getting done to a level. But to our players' credit, they were able to rectify that pretty quickly. And it was quite a tense finish. But yeah, we're all working, aren't we, to be better, and I'll continue to try and be a better coach.
Riley O'Brien spoke yesterday talking about how the possibility of two rucks hadn't been floated to him when he signed. It was said there was news around this week that you'd called Sam Draper to express the Crows' interest in still signing him. Can you speak to that, and is that something you need to fix, I guess, or have a chat to Riley about?
Yeah, I won't speak to any players from other clubs. I just think it's disrespectful doing that, but I can speak to Rob's form and where he's at and our communication. I think it's been one of our strengths this year, and it's probably why Rob's playing some of his best footy. It's that communication around what he's doing really well, what we love about his game, and I think he's playing probably career best at the moment. Part of the reason we're in a good space is because we communicate. I've got no doubt that we're on the same page, and we'll just keep working to that, try and stick it out for the rest of the season.
But it's not incorrect to say that you called Sam Draper, though?
No, we don't talk about players from other footy clubs.
Is your expectation then, Nixie, next year you would continue with one dominant ruck, or would you love the idea of potentially having two next year?
I think if you compare it to a lot of other things we've done, which might have been frowned upon, I mean, three key forwards has been a challenge that we felt we could bring into the game. The game's always changing. We're always looking at how we can get an advantage. You know, the guys have managed to make that work this year. There are going to be changes in the game that are coming through. There's talk about taking the sub away and having an extra player on the bench for a rotation. There's talk about the ruck rule changing. Part of our job is to stay on top of that, and list management is one of the most important areas with that. And so as you know, we've been active every year when it comes to list management. We know how important that is. We'll continue to do that, but we're not a club that discuss anyone from another football club when it comes to, you and I standing here and having a chat.
Did Dan Curtin catch that he's your favourite?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him only, and none of the other players. Yeah.
How sensational has he been the last few weeks, especially now he's been more around the ball, particularly in that final quarter of baseball?
Yeah, we've given him a little bit of time around the footy. One, to expose him and give him a look. We love what he does when he gets around the ball, where it comes to the wing that he's playing on, and so having that position where we can have a look at him in there has been a bonus. But on the weekend, it wasn't necessarily us experimenting. It was we felt like we needed him in there. So he's playing footy at a really high level at the moment, especially considering the lack of experience he has. He's stepping up in big moments. It's been a big season for him. Really impressive, for such a young player.
Got your vote for the Rising Star?
I don't actually get to vote on it, but yes.
Since Rash has gone out of the side, it seemed like Rankin's spent predominantly forward, or he did go in the middle at times on Friday night. Is that the preferred role for him at the moment, with Rash out of the side, and you've got the ability to have him pinch hit in the middle?
Yeah, probably not the preferred role. I think wherever the game needs Isaac, we will try and put Isaac. In saying that, we come off talking about Dan Curtin and what he's doing around the midfield. Jake Saligo's doing similar, as is Sam Berry. Our captain Jordan Dawson in there, Pete Ling as well. So these guys are playing good footy at the moment and a high level of footy, which is allowing us to play Isaac ahead of the ball a little more. And with Josh out of the side, you're probably looking for a couple of goals a game. And Isaac's shown that, I think, in key moments, that being a little closer to goal, he's able to impact the game and impact the scoreboard. And that's probably where it sits. I think we'll still be looking to get him up around the footy as we come to these latter part of the season.
And you've got a new Crow, Brody Smith's first arrival.
Little Luca, little man. He's done really well. It's no, I won't go there. Brody just shared the story with the boys, which was great to put the photo up of Lisa and Luca, and how much that is a massive moment for anyone. But to be able to share it with 44 young lads, and half of them don't have a clue what it means. But for Brody, it's been a big week.
And he's available to play though.
Brody will be playing this week at at some level. Yeah.